Hello, welcome to PocketGamer.biz's Monetizer feature. This is where we look at free-to-play games and have a look at some of the monetization techniques they're using. So today we're going to look at a game from Backflip Studios called Spellfall. So let's fire it up. This game came out in August. It's a kind of match 3 with RPG elements. So it loads very fast. We'd like to see that. It's actually one of the fastest loading games I've got on my iPad. So we see nice kind of take us in. So I've been playing this for a while. So it's taking me into the world map. You can see I've completed some elements, plenty more elements to go. So but before we kind of go into some of the gameplay stuff, you can look at some of the monetization techniques. So obviously, as in most games, we can buy stuff. So there's an in-game economy. This is quite a nice little scroll through, so it's just showing me I can spend a certain amount of money. So this is kind of fairly standard. So there's a small in-app purchase. So that's £1.49 or $2. And as we go up to spending bigger amounts, we actually get more gold per pound or dollar spent. That's fairly standard. Actually, the ratio, if you work it out, is 1.4. So compared to the cheapest in-app purchase bundle to the most expensive, you get 1.4, effectively 40% more for the most expensive one. But what's interesting here is the most expensive bundle here is showing $34.99, so that's $50. As we all know, within the App Store, you're actually allowed the most expensive you're allowed to charge in Apple rules is $100. So interestingly, they've chosen not as expensive an in-app purchase for the currency as most games would do. Pretty much standard now for most games to give people the option of spending $100, even though not many of them do. Okay, but as we go on, we can see here there's other things to buy. And this is kind of a little bit non-standard really now. It used to happen more, I would suggest. So these are items we can buy. So there's an area bundle here. We can get a random weapon and a rune, useful for whichever area we're in. So this is £7 or $10. You can also buy some of these runes. There's a stun rune, toxin rune, rejuvenate rune. So you can see here, if we equip this, we charge it with cold tiles, which you'll see is kind of part of the match 3. So it kind of gives a bit of information. So that's going to cost us, again, these are all $10, so we can actually buy them in the game with this gold currency, but this is another option. If we go further along, we can suddenly get these swords. So they look very nice, don't they? So you can see it's got some sockets, and just getting an idea about how this value here, 21 hit points effectively. It's a water based, there's an elemental, as in with most match 3 games. But you see here, this is £55. So that's probably about kind of $80. So we've got different ones of here. We've got an electric one, we've got a tide one, an ice one. This is toxin one, earthen one. So earth, kind of fire, usual kind of elements. These are all £55. Then we get to these ones here. This is £70. So this is $99. This is $100 for the Lucient sword. And this one here, the corrupt one, is actually, you can see here, this is £90. So this is even bigger. I'm not quite sure how they can charge this. They must charge it in 2 in-app purchases. This is more than the $100 limit. So it's kind of interesting that that within, even though we were looking at the currency. No, I'm not going to do that. Not going to buy that one. So when we were looking at the currency, there was a lower, kind of a lower level than most games would have. But then actually, you can actually buy these kind of one-off items, and it's kind of an interesting kind of philosophy, really. That they know most people aren't going to do this. There's going to be very few people, but I guess it's the idea is. Most people aren't going to do it, so why offer $100 for just for currency? And currency is actually, when you buy it, is kind of a bit useless. I think a lot of the free-to-play games, they fail to give you an idea when you buy currency what you're actually going to do with it. Obviously you tend to kind of fritter it away a little bit, but this is in a sense a bit more as we kind of expect from, almost not really from console games, but you're buying something, you're paying the money, and you're getting like a very high-end item. Clearly, I guess we kind of see that in games like League of Legends, where you're buying you're buying hero characters, and that's the monetization, and you know you're getting something for it. You're not just getting speeding up time or something. And I think this is a kind of interesting monetization technique that perhaps we'll see more of as more kind of core gameplay starts to come in. So anyway, so we've had a look at the map. This is my backpack, and we can kind of see, get an idea. So this is my little chap here. These are the runes he's got. Kind of so he's got a skull here and some armor. I can unlock. I can add a socket. So this is 3,000 gold. I've actually got 6,000 gold. So I could add. I could unlock a rune space, and then I'd have to then buy a rune to put in there. So it's kind of an interesting monetization technique. So we go into the store here. So this is the store. I mean, I don't really like this store. It's quite confusing, I find. So these are all the things I have. These different kind of costumes and things. My bio armor, my simple. So I start with simple clothes, bandit, cowl. But going to the store, see the things I can buy. Now this is something that's interesting. Reset the store. All the items in the store are random. Reset the store to get new items. So effectively, I'm spending a reasonable, I mean, not massive sums of money, but that would be more than the sixth of what I have, just to see what other items are there. It's an interesting technique. And there's this one here. I mean, this is used quite a lot now. So these are mystery boxes. So if I can buy a bronze box, I have a chance for a rare item. Actually, this one's free. So there we go. Tap that. I get this once a day. A frozen mantle. It's kind of pretty rubbish actually. So not much use to me, but it's free, so that's what I expected. So you can see this one's going to be free again in 24 hours time, or I can spend $1. Again, moving up here. So a platinum box I can spend. It's £13, so effectively getting on for $20 to buy that. I have a 5% chance of a unique gold item. So this is kind of obviously came out of particularly the Japanese market, called kind of gacha, randomization of items, particularly massive in card games. Kind of now a fairly standard technique even in Western games. But again, interestingly, as it says here, items in this page are purchased with real money. So we're not spending in-game currency. We're spending these are monetized items with real money. So that's the kind of you can see, and obviously, yeah, if I want to, I can buy some stuff with the in-game currency. Okay, so we've kind of had a look at this. Some interesting techniques there. I would say this is a kind of a fairly monetized kind of game. So I've not got any friends, I've not connected to Facebook. Not going to do that now. Let's have a quick go into the game. There's one more thing before we kind of start. So you can see I've been playing this level. I can unlock things. So we're going to go in. So it's just telling me who I'm going to fight. It's going to tell me a bit of detail about them, their weaknesses, elemental base, as we said. Go into the fight. Won't really go into too much into this, but we can see so there's a grid screen and there's a little guy I'm going to fight. But equally here, so we've got these potions. So this is how much money I've got, 6112, and I can spend money. So I can convert 3 tiles into symbols. I can enhance, which is basically kind of a power up, and I can haste. So I can get through. At the moment, I've got 4 moves. I'm going to have 4 moves, and he's going to have a go. But I could spend 1150 to get some extra moves, and this is just for this kind of battle set. So it's kind of like these are kind of pre-level boosts. So it's kind of like consumable. So obviously, in most free-to-play games, you have permanent things you're spending money on, as in those massive swords, and then kind of consumables. So can't actually get out of this, I don't think. So we're going to leave it there with Spellfall. I think it's an interesting example of lots of different techniques. It's actually not been that successful. So it's kind of downloaded kind of quite well. But didn't really kind of break any records, and in terms of kind of top grossing status, didn't really do that well. It kind of did go in the top 100 in America, in the US on the iPhone, but kind of fell out fairly quickly. And that kind of always goes an example of you can have a game with quite high monetization techniques in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that game's going to be successful. Because I think what a lot of kind of free-to-play designers now are realizing is kind of retention is the main thing. If you get people playing over and over again, then in the end they'll probably get to a stage where they may spend money if they're enjoying the game perhaps more. So I think kind of Spellfall has perhaps got some really interesting techniques, but perhaps not totally in balance with the game. But there we go, Spellfall. Check it out.